I just want to have a bit of a look, and then I'm gonna go around. So thank you, Tristan, for sticking around with this beautiful young girl around here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I know a lot of people have been asking about her, and it seems, according to Tristan over there, who can have a bit of a better view at the face, that this is actually the royal princess Xongile. Yeah, we've been wondering where you've been. Ugh, you see, now she's being a royal princess. Pardon? Another leopard behind you. Which leopard?
I don't know. Just chill on the road.
Okay, apparently she is hiding from another leopard that was walking down on the road, and oh my goodness, I don't really know what's been happening this afternoon. We've had all the cats all over the place. But this is wonderful, because I've had a couple of days where I've just seen tracks going up and down on the road. So great to see so many leopards on one afternoon drive, and keeping up with all of the ones that we've just been wondering how they've been doing. So for all of you that are new to the show, we believe that this is Xongile, and this is one of the young female leopards that we have in this area. And she is the last daughter of a very beloved female leopard that we haven't seen for the last few months. Now, we haven't been able to catch up with her for the last few weeks or so. We didn't know. Oh, hello, beautiful girl. And we were starting to wonder what she's been up to and where she's been, but clearly she is still fine and well and doing just great, because she seems to be quite healthy and in a very regal position. I wonder if, you know, today there was a termite mount party that we were clearly not invited. This is Hosanna. Ah. Can you see him from there? Alright guys, it seems like the plot thickens, and today, what an unexpected drive. It seems like, so Tristan's gonna try and go onto the road, because it seems like the other leopard that's not too far from us, it's Hosanna. So how amazing is that? We've got the two, the brother and sister not too far from each other, and we wonder if they've actually bumped into one another during the day, and maybe they've just decided they don't want to be together. But good news, seems like they're both doing fine, and how amazing is this? My goodness, what an action-packed afternoon we've had today. This is wonderful. Beautiful. I don't think I could be happier, because I know some of you were asking how she's been doing. Now we've got her there, and we think that Hosanna's not too far on the road. So yay! Both of them are still around and still coming back, which is always great. Now, I'm going to try to get us out of this mess and see if perhaps there is another way of getting to her that we're going to have a much prettier view for much prettier screenshots. However, I think just bear with me for 2 seconds while I try to get us out of here. I think there is a tree there. That's right, because Tristan was on the other side and we couldn't quite get there before when we first arrived, and there's a very big stump. So I can't really go around the way I wanted. That stump kind of ruined my idea of how we were going to go and approach her. But I know if I go there, then I'm going to scare her off. I'm just going to go do a bit of a longer loop around, and we'll be able to see her nicely. So, we're going to go around, and I'm sure she's going to be there. And how exciting would it be if Hosanna came around? This is wonderful. I don't think I've had so many leopards on so many trees, on so many termite mounds. It is a bit tough, but I see a clearing, and that's where I'm going, just to be able to get to her, the royal princess. Woo. Hopefully no flat tires. That'll be a record. All right. Whew. Almost there, guys. All branches? No, I do not, because I've been pulled out. Alright, seems like I lost my communications with FC, but now I'm back on. Alright, I'm going to carry on fighting with those bushes, and while we do that, let's go to Jamie, who's still with the lions. Xongile is doing very well. The little precious Xongololo, as we all call her, she seems to be just fine and very sleepy. She at least had her head up for a few moments earlier on, but now it seems like she's gone back to sleep. And funny enough, we heard an elephant breaking something in the distance and she didn't even wink. I know she knows that this is a very safe spot for her and nothing to worry about. So off she's gone into sleep, and it seems like for the time being Hosanna is also not too far from here, also properly asleep. Fallen asleep already by 3 hours down. So it is quite interesting. They're not too far from each other, and I wonder if they were actually close to one another, or if they bumped into each other, and if they would remember that they used to be playmates, or if they've gotten into that stage where it's just like, okay, well, I know who you are, bye. I would assume they're reaching more that point where each one of them is gonna do their own separate thing. Megan, you're wondering what is the most leopards that I've seen in a day. I think it was 5 or 6, and it was a few years ago. So I found a female and 2 tiny cubs in the morning. And no, actually it was about 6. And then before that, we had a brief visual of a young male that was a bit skittish and ran off into the distance. And then that afternoon again, I had a female and another cub. So I think that was my best day in terms of how many leopards I had seen, but I think today definitely wins hands down in terms of all the cats that we've been seeing. I mean, pride of lions and 2 completely different leopards, both of them on top of termite mounds. I think this will be a drive to remember in my books for sure. Oh, you're looking so pretty and so well fed. I think you've just been doing just fine. Now, it is unfortunate that there are some grass blades in front of her, but that is the typical thing that everyone has to struggle with, especially if we're trying to either get a photo or a screenshot of them. But I think just looking at her and knowing that she's safe and that she's doing very well, I think that's wonderful for all of us. And I'm sure the guys in the Mara, Jamie and Brent and Scotty and James, they're all going to be very excited to know that little Xongile is still around and that she's doing just fine. It's funny, I think maybe we called her yesterday because we were all saying that we hadn't seen her in a while and we would love to see her. And there she is. Lisa, you're wondering if Xongile could be in heat. I think she's a bit young for that still. I do, however, think that because she's sort of been forced into adulthood and being independent, likely she'll go into heat at a younger age than maybe some of the other animals around. We haven't seen any signs of her, though, being in heat or attracting any males into the area. I think she's still in that stage where she will prefer to stay away from trouble and stay away from bigger males and especially other dominant females in this area. So I suppose only time would tell. I think judging by her age, she is reaching the point where she could very well start coming into heat, but it would be odd to have a leopard this young go into heat so soon. But again, nature does funny things, and I think we'll have a better answer as we carry on spending some time with her, because they've had a very unusual life so far. And they seem to be the exception to the rule in many regards, and just that the fact that they are here and still looking wonderful. I think these 2 cats, her and Hosanna, are probably cats that don't do everything by the book. And I'm sure they will have a few surprises in for us as the months carry on. Pokemon Guy, you're wondering how long would Hosanna and Xongile's bond last for? I'm not too sure if it started to wane already, like we were saying earlier. She's here and Hosanna, he's not far, but he is also not too close by. And they're not as sociable as some of the other creatures, and definitely not as sociable as lions. So I think that bond has started to wane already. And I think the more the time goes by, then the more, unfortunately, that bond is going to to bring them a bit more separate or take them a bit further apart. It's also likely as Hosanna starts becoming older, then he will also want to find a territory in an area for himself where he can claim all the females and the resources and the water and the food and the prey species. So because there are already quite big dominant males around here, I wonder if he's not going to have to move off onto a different area. So hopefully he'll stick around somewhere where we can see him. But like I've said, there are certain animals that are forced, especially the males, that are forced to move great distances before they can settle. Vola, for example, that territorial, or well, that older leopard that we were talking about at the beginning of the drive, he was born in the southern Sabi Sand, and he dispersed all the way to the northern Sabi Sand where we are now. So it's just a little proof that sometimes they will move off into a different area, but I'm hoping he'll stick around in an area where we can keep up to date of what he's up to and what he does. Xongile, more likely than not, she will stay around this general vicinity or this general area. Beautiful. Aren't you just pretty? She is very pretty and enjoying some very peaceful sleep. Well, this has been fantastic. Now, I'm going to try to find out if Hosanna is still around. Perhaps he'll be around and we'll be able to get a glimpse of him, because I know a lot of people would like to do that. So while I do that, and hopefully I'll have good luck, so let's go over to Jamie. It seems like the lions are stalking again.